Today is special, right? we have never had somebody actually join our show in person here.
Yeah.
We went to Coach Ayers, we went to his place, but actually coming here, and I tout this guy as probably the hottest guest in Cincinnati over the last week.
Hands down.
It is. If you've seen the video, I shared the clip of it earlier this morning. Went completely viral, and then when I found out who it was, I'm like, he's a friend of mine.
That's a moment of like, that's my boy. I ain't gonna tell anybody.
Huh. But then you see, and knowing him, like his sense of humor and humility was fantastic. So, so let's bring on Richie Jones. Come on up.
Richie,
I wish we had like somebody like clapping for him, like Arsenio Hall or something like that.
What's up, gentlemen?
So, Richie, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
right?
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna talk about Richie's, kind of Richie's. I don't want to say his story, but like knowing him, for a couple years that I have, and the places that we would typically run into each other, right? I mean, graduated from Elder. What'd you say? 98.
01.
01.
Yeah.
01. Played football, baseball.
Yeah.
I played softball with and against him for several years.
Yeah.
So this guy right here is not just he's more than your weekend warrior. Okay.
Yeah, because I haven't met you before, and I was down here getting everything set up. When you turn the corner, I was like, "Whoa, this dude's jacked, man. He's yoked up, man. He's an athlete."
Yes.
I was like, "It's okay."
Not the guy you would expect to see in a viral video going down the stairs. Okay, so now that we kind of know that was
cold, you're stiff.
It was cold. It was cold.
Which makes it even worse. So why don't you tell the story
Okay.
of kind of what transpired,
Okay.
right? And kind of we'll talk later, kind of where it's at now and whatever.
Okay.
But lead us into it. Tell us how it happened.
All right. So I picked up Colt from school on Thursday. He had no idea. He's never been to a game yet. The last game he went to was in diapers, so he hasn't really realized it. And last year with COVID, we didn't get a chance to go.
Yeah.
So I picked him up from school. He has no idea. I got some 2 red Mountain Dews and some Big League Chew, and all of a sudden he put 2 and 2 together. Oh, we're going to the Reds game? Really? Are we really going, Dad? He was so excited. So the day started off awesome.
That's neat.
And I chose those seats out in left center, feeling like we won't be in home run territory area. We'll be fine. He's got a good view of the field. He's going to ask questions. We got a great view of the field. So left field's always kind of crowded on those day games with younger crowds and drinking and things. And I didn't want him to be around it. So we'll go here. We'll be fine. And then the first home run of the game, we're on a jumbotron. I'm like, oh gosh, that was close. Next home run goes out there again. Oh, we're on a jumbotron again. I mean, we were only a couple rows away from the first couple home run balls.
Right.
Well, and Winker hit one out there the very first.
Yeah.
He let off the game with a homer. So it was right away.
Yeah, and we're watching it, right? That means it's right there to us. And then, he's asking all morning, are we going to be on TV? You think we're going to jumbotron? I'm like, probably
cool,
not, man.
Just
let's just enjoy the game and, ask your questions and we'll do our thing. And then 5th or 6th innings, Forrest hits his. And then, so when that happened.
So did you try to move and go capture any of the other home run balls?
No.
Did you make any move or just kind of
I wasn't close enough to it. Okay. So, I mean, they were like within a section or section or 2 over. Clear enough to see. I mean, you could see the ball coming down. And, I mean, we had really good view of it. But I didn't make an attempt to go get anything.
How many times did Colton ask you, like, Dad, do you think we'll get a home run ball? Or did he, in his mind, was he thinking, like, well, this is getting really close. It's almost our turn.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, because he doesn't really know he doesn't know how it works.
Yeah.
It's being his first game. He doesn't realize you get the ball and you get to keep it. Like,
right.
He was just asking a lot of questions. And I'm more into the game. Like, he's asking, why is he doing this and why is he doing that? And not worrying about home run balls. But like I said, by the 6th inning, we had 4 hit out to us already. And we made a jumbotron every time. So I'm thinking, man, this is one heck of an experience for my son for a first game.
100%.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, we're not only getting home run balls, we're getting close to them.
Yeah, and little do we know.
Yeah.
What it is. Yeah.
So you're out there, you're seeing all these home run balls, and then you decide, hey, are you hungry? Right? Because you had the big helmet, right?
No, we didn't have the big helmet.
You didn't have the big helmet, okay.
So you were talking about the food earlier. We did the $20 all-you-can-eat pass.
Oh, awesome.
Which I thought was not too good to be true.
Yeah.
But it's $20 and you get, I think, 5 or 6 hot dogs, unlimited pop, unlimited chips, unlimited pretzels, popcorn, the whole game.
Wow.
That is well worth it.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, heck, for us too. And those 2 tickets, I got in and out of the ballpark for $60 for a day of fun.
Right.
Like, I'm in.
Right.
but then me saying, I can't be at the ballpark and not get nachos. So I'm like, as we took our tour of the stadium, showed him everything. He wouldn't hit the wiffle balls and stuff. And on our way back, I'm like, we gotta get nachos. So I got the nachos. Yeah.
So you sit down.
Yeah. So we're sitting down, and I'm not even paying attention to the game, and all of a sudden I hear Dad, 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 and I look up. And I see the center fielder and left fielder like merging right to where we're at.
Yeah.
So I look up and there comes the ball, and the video picks it up like it's right here in my breadbasket, but it's not. Okay. Let me just tell you, it wasn't. Because if it was, there's nachos been down the ground. I've been protecting Colt.
Yeah.
I'd take him off the back or something. So we're sitting in seat 1. The ball hits seat 15. So we're 15 seats away from it. So I'm like just watching it hit. Like, oh, who's gonna get the ball? It's gonna hit and skip.
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah.
Well, it hits the concrete step and skips directly left, right to me. So I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't ready to catch it. I'm looking like, oh, who's going to get it? Boom, hits, and it comes right to me. Hits me here, hits me here, hits me here again, and then goes down. So, because I even moved Colton right away. As the ball was coming, he was on my left, and I moved him to my right side to kind of try and protect him just in case.
Yeah.
And then the ball just hit. It was like slow motion. You could see the ball spinning sideways, and you could just, I'm like, it's coming right at me. Oh my God, how am I going to do it? Yeah, so there it went.
So it went down. You went down. I saw the video. You lost your shoe.
Yeah.
You banged your knee, your shin, your leg, pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much everything on me. Yeah.
So
how are you feeling today?
Yes.
I'm all right. See, the problem was the Reds, they zip tie those chairs shut. So they only seat like 2, then they zip tie 4 in a row, then they sit out 2. So when I jumped, you can see in the video, my foot is right on that chair, hoping it would catch
open.
And it doesn't shut. It doesn't come down. It's sealed tight shut. So my foot went down, and then the top part of my body went down, and I went down. So how am I feeling today? I'm still pretty sore.
So the athleticism, and you saw an opportunity to land on a chair. We all walk down those, push the one down, and keep walking that short line. So it all happened, and then
and then when it from the start, I was down. I mean, I had no chance.
Why didn't this chair unfold?
I know, and I never tie my shoes. So I mean, you'll see my shoes aren't. I never tie them, so that's why they fell off. And
so kids, tie your shoes.
Yeah, because you never know what'll happen. So then the hole in the jeans, they made a comment about that, and I'm like, whatever.
So this happens, right?
Yeah.
And it just blows up,
right?
Not just throughout Cincinnati, just everywhere.
Yeah.
So you had people texting, calling you, like.
So within minutes, probably I'd say within 5 minutes, some kid came up to us randomly and said, "Hey man, look at this. You're on Bleacher Report." And I'm like, what? Like, you got to get on Twitter. I'm like, I don't even have Twitter. So I had to get on my phone to re-download the Twitter app in 2013. That's when my last tweet was.
Wow.
So, and all of a sudden, Colt's like, Dad, we're going viral. We got to live this up. We're going viral. I'm like, Colt, it's not that bad yet. Then another guy comes up and goes, hey, you're on TMZ.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So now I start looking on Twitter, and every time I refresh, another 100,000 views. Another 100,000. I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Before we left the ballpark, I think we were at 1.4 million views and tweets and things. Like, it was before we even got to our car. I'm like, oh my gosh. And Colt just looks at me and goes, well, I'm glad you didn't catch it because now we're famous. Little did I know where it would take us off to the next couple of days.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so. Speaking of that, it blows up. It goes viral. The Reds get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of transpired there as far as?
So I haven't heard back from the Reds. So they emailed me that night, Thursday night, and said, "Hey, we need to get your permission to reach a couple of our sponsors and want to get your information. Is it okay to send your information?" I said, "Yes, no problem." I said, "And you do what you got to do." And they said that Frito-Lay was going to reach out and give us tickets to the future game with some nachos, but I've yet to hear from them. So hopefully that pans out because I want Colt to go and get a good experience. And then Lucas Sims and his wife Danny Sims actually reached out to me. And she said, "Hey, we gotta make this right for your boy." And like I'm talking to her in a direct message on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to do it, so I had to find out how to do a direct message. And so her and I talked for about a couple of hours that night. And she's like, "Hey, man, we're really gonna take care of your son. Donato's is gonna pitch in a free pizza to take care of your nachos, and Lucas is gonna give you a ball on your way back when we get back from the homestand." So and then the Reds are back tomorrow. So we're hoping we get something in the mail from them. So it'd be cool to get a baseball from him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Well, I think the only great substitute for nachos is more nachos.
So,
but the nachos is good.
So Nacho Man,
I knew it was coming.
We have supplied you with the nachos that you have lost.
Where are the jalapenos?
So we've got nacho cheese, nachos.
Yes.
I got salsa, and I got jalapenos.
Yes.
So
it was funny. Friday night at my baseball game for Colt. As soon as the game ended, one of the moms came over and gave me a bag of Tostitos and cheese dip and a big cold beer. And I'm like, you know what? You guys are just living this up. And all the kids, instead of saying 1, 2, 3 Bulldogs, they're saying 1, 2, 3 nachos.
Nachos, yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I had a blast. Those kids, those 7-year-old kids, man, just ate it up, and we've had a great time with it.
So your 15 minutes of fame is
Yeah.
just continuing just to keep going.
You're
Yeah,
eating
for a
well
little
from
bit.
this, man. From this
Yeah.
15 minutes,
Yeah,
all the
it's
food.
not- yeah, we have. Hey, was that game on the other night? I think my bartender was pretty light. Once they realized that WCPO ran a news clip for me, and then once everybody saw it, there was handing out drinks, and it was a good time.
So you had the Reds, and then you've done several radio spots,
Yeah.
interviews, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about kind of what's transpired there.
Yeah, so Eddie and Rocky called or sent me got a hold of me on Twitter and Facebook, and so my son Colt and I did the interview. I guess it was Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday. So, yeah.
Today's Thursday.
So it might have been Tuesday. I can't remember. I think it was Tuesday. We did Eddie and Rocky show.
Yeah.
And Wednesday we did a show out in Seattle, some podcast for Mitch Levy.
Which is amazing because here we
Right.
are in Cincinnati, and
Yeah.
we talk about like just how news and information travels, and
Yeah.
Oh,
whether it's good, bad, silly, whatever.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
we got to have this guy. Yeah.
And he ate it up, man. He said, he goes, I love the story. I love the hug at the end with your boy. He said, this story, because I just had to have you on here. He said, I know we're from Seattle, but because we got to have you on, because I just love the story. And his interview was really nice, really
Yeah.
cool. And he put Colt on the phone. He talked to Colt and made him feel good. And it was just neat. So we had a good time with it.
So, several interviews, nationwide, viral, and I was I was trying to post, just kind of a lead up to today's show,
Yeah.
and I just knew, because we have a lot of mutual friends and stuff together. I
Right.
knew I had seen it on Twitter, and then, but when you pull up something on Google and you're like, Nacho Man, Cincinnati Reds,
Yeah.
and the first thing that pops up is TMZ. I'm like, it's on TMZ?
Oh, yeah. Good Morning America was
Yeah.
on there. I mean, it's gone crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I probably haven't seen half the stuff either. That's the funny thing.
Right.
I probably haven't seen half of what's going on because I'm not really tech savvy. So
Well, you'll really make it, and maybe it's already out there, of when you get to a GIF stage.
I know.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
When you just got that short clip
Mm-hmm.
of just you.
diving into Monday life.
If
Yeah.
I get on my iPhone and try it in the GIF and I'm on there, it's falling.
Yes.
That's
You've made it at that
Yes,
point,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
They're trying to get John Boy. You ever see that John Boy media? You ever see that
Yes,
guy?
yes, that guy's fantastic.
I think somebody sent me my clip too, and if he puts something out there, I mean,
Oh,
he's
that's
gonna
gold.
he's gonna roast me, and I'm just
That's-
having so much fun with it though.
That's-
So
Well, that's the
He's one of my favorite people to watch right now. Man.
Yeah.
I subscribe to him, and
Yeah.
the way he just words and articulates situations
voice
in the
is
game,
just-
he gets in their head, like what he projects them to say in those moments. Have you seen it?
no, I don't know.
It's
So
great.
he'll take he'll bring classic film where there's a fight and somebody will get beaten by a ball, and he'll kind of narrate the whole process.
Yeah.
And relive old moments, and sometimes you're reading lips, and he's just saying. He's
I've seen, what was the one guy a few years ago when Amir Garrett got into the fight with the entire Padres
Oh,
team, and he did. Maybe it's the
it
same
might
guy.
be him, 'cause I've
Like
seen
he did the
him,
same thing where he was like, he's talking, he's going through what Amir Garrett's like
Yeah.
actually saying, and I won't go into what he was actually saying,
Right.
but the whole thing. So maybe it was, maybe I didn't know.
Yeah, he's fantastic, man. He's
Yeah.
done a lot. He's yes.
Yes. So if I make that to me would be pretty cool.
Yes, hilarious.
I agree.
Because I think what his spin on it would be just awesome, and I just had to take it and run with it.
Well,
Because it wouldn't be pretty for me.
Yeah. He's my favorite person to watch on social media
Yeah.
right now.
the thing that I can take away from this, and this is a credit to you, is just your humbleness and humility to
Yeah.
basically, make fun of yourself and take it, because I think
Yeah.
that's a huge quality in a person,
Right.
to be self-deprecating enough and to be humble enough to where, yes, it's embarrassing, yes, it hurts, but at the end of the day, it's hilarious, and if and like it's
It's easy for him to say, right?
Right.
no, I mean I'm not viral, but I may have been telling you the story. It's like we went to, I'm a huge wrestling fan, always been. It's my guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah.
So we go to like one of the shows. This was a few years ago. Carson's 16 now. He might have been like 11 or 12, and like he couldn't see. So I'm like, all right. So I was gonna like squat him and put him up on my shoulders, and like. I went down, man. And I'm doing everything I can to do, and I'm standing right next to a friend of mine that I didn't know was going to be right there.
Yeah.
And so like I'm going down, and like only thing I could think of was like, don't let Carson hit his head.
Right.
But of course, like I never thought of like, don't hit your hip.
Everything else.
and your leg,
Everything.
and your back, on the stairs, on the
Yeah.
seat, and everything. And I'm just sitting there like, boy, I feel like such an idiot right now.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but
think if I'd have been by myself or with friends and did that, it'd been much more embarrassing. But not once have I thought, man, this is as embarrassing as can be.
yeah,
Like, I was doing everything I could to be a father and get that ball for him.
right.
Like, I never thought, like, people were asking me, like, I know you weren't drinking because you were with your boy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't drink with them. And I said the embarrassing part of it hasn't been too bad. I mean, what can you do?
Right.
What's done is done, and you might as well
Probably.
live with it and go
I
on.
think for guys probably like us, is like, yes, at first you're like, oh man, this looks. Before you know what's really
Yeah.
gonna happen, and then it kind of takes place. You're like, this is freaking hilarious. Like this
Yeah.
is like, yeah, that was me. Like
Yeah.
I was trying hard.
What are you gonna do?
I went to
Yeah.
make a play. You know. And,
Yeah, the
what
kid
you
who got
were
the
saying
ball.
is that's probably easily my favorite. I'm kind of a sappy guy, but when you guys hugged, like
Yeah.
the embrace
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
his facial expressions of
I know.
who knows what's going through his head. Is Dad, are you okay? Like what's just
Yeah.
happening? And to know that's his first experience
Right.
of a game. Is,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
that
what's
was
the
him. That was his
what's-
words. Dad, are you okay? Are you all right? Like, and I mean, it was just that's just who Colt is. Like he was just.
it wasn't.
How you
Did you get the
doing,
ball,
Dad?
Dad?
No, 'Cause I think you saw very clear that little kid just had the ball and put it up in the air like I got it. And I'm just like, oh man.
And that was my worst part of the video. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, little man, you see somebody fall for that,
Give him the ball.
No, well, it was funny.
That meant the
two
world to
left.
that little kid.
Yeah, I know. And them two left the game as soon as it happened. They caught the ball and they were gone. Like they left.
Professional
I guess his dad
ball
knew-
snatchers.
Yeah, I think his dad knew what was about to ensue, and I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you on the hug at the end. I mean, and it was just I didn't plan it. It just kind of like, man, I'm sorry. I said, buddy, I'm sorry. I said, I obviously tried.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
goes,
yeah,
are
yeah.
you okay? I said, because I had on like long pants and like stuff underneath because it was cold.
It's cold.
And I didn't
Yeah.
even want to pull them up that night. So when I got home and got undressed, I'm like, oh my god, look at my legs. I got blood down my shins. I got a golf ball size knot on my shin. Like it's, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
good
that's honorable there. Just how cold it was. I couldn't move. My restriction. This.
Oh,
and
it was
that.
cold, and we were underneath the top, so,
So
like,
no
we were
sun,
We were in
yeah.
no sun, so
And it gets really cold down there
Yeah.
too.